Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have another fun gnome card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Spring Dies version 2, the Spring Dies 1 version 2, Happy Gardening stamp set, and the Happy Gardening outline dies, the Build-A-Booth dies, the Build-A-Booth Garden Add Ons, the Girl Gnome dies, and Gnome Dies Garden Add Ons. Oops, I got some of the flower dies hiding the title. There we go. And I'm using P13 Stamping Pad Skin Tones, along with Sunny Studios Classic Gingham, and their Polka Dot Parade, and their Jewel Tones Gingham, and Doodlebugs, what one's that called? That is called Fruit Stand. It's an oldie but a goodie, 6-inch pad. I am also using Polka Dot Parade in Striped Silly. Okay, so first of all, I have an A2 size card base made out of paper tray ink white cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches. And I'm adding a layer that's 1/8 of an inch smaller with some ATG tape, and that is cut out of Spring Rain cardstock from paper tray ink. And I did put this little booth together, just to display the garden release. So the Build-A-Booth Garden Add Ons. And I'm using that on my card base today. That was cut out of paper tray ink soft stone cardstock. Sorry about that. I had kind of a brain fart. Okay, I'm going to put together the little girl really quick. So her dress is cut out of that Jewel Tones Sunny Studios gingham. There we go. And I will weight it down. I'm gluing it with art glitter glue. The base was cut out of American Crafts black cardstock. Okay, I'm adding a 1-inch strip of this floral paper, and that is just from that oldie but goodie fruit stand pad, but you can use any flower paper. And I used a 1/4 of an inch, so it's 1-inch strip and then 1 1/4 inch of new leaf cardstock from paper tray ink. Just so I have kind of like a pretty border going on the inside. You could use any floral paper. I was just wanting to use up this pad. There we go. So it's kind of pretty, right? And I've got this sentiment for the inside. It says, "Have an unbelievable birthday." And that was stamped onto Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock with Versafine Claire Nocturne ink. That's the Happy Gardening stamp set and the outline dies. Okay, now I'm adding scrapbook adhesives foam squares that I've cut in half, and I'm just going to, add a strip of them underneath this booth so the grass is level. Now the grass I cut out of new leaf cardstock using that Spring Add-Ons, the Spring Dies version, Spring Dies 1 version 2. Now there is a Spring Dies 1 that's still for sale in Jaded Blossom. It's just a little bit thinner, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just used this one because it was a little bit larger and I found it quickly in my stash. So I'm sticking this grass down with some ATG tape. Like I said, made it of new leaf cardstock from paper tray ink. There we go. So kind of pretty, right? Now I'm going to add on the face that was cut out of the P13 Stamping Pad Skin Tones with some art glitter glue, using my reverse tweezers, working on my Stampin' Up! Pad as per usual. Now the hat is cut out of that same gingham Jewel Tones from Sunny Studios. Kind of a fun, I don't use purple all the time, so it's kind of fun. Now the hair is cut out of American Crafts brown cardstock, and I'm just popping that into place. Remember, it lines up with the bottom of the hat. And then the little bows were cut out of that same paper, the Jewel Tones Classic Gingham from Sunny Studios. There we go. Just making sure everything is straight on there. Good stuff. I think she'll pop in the purple on this card. Now I'm going to add on these little bows using my Studio Katia embellishment wand because they're really tiny to hold. There we go. And then I will pop up her nose. There we go. And I'm using Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, but the edges, right? And I'll pop up that nose right there with my reverse tweezers. So isn't that sweet? Just so cute. And then her little feet will be popped up with Stampin' Up! Dimensionals as well. Remember, you can use those edges. There we go. And isn't that cute? I just think that's adorable. There she is, all set to go on the front of the card. Okay, now I did put together that watering can on the Gnome Dies Garden Add Ons. And you can watch me put that together during that video. That was just cut out of American Crafts silver cardstock and Doodlebug's yellow cardstock. And then the little pink flower was cut out of Sunny Studios gingham linen in jewel tones. Now I went ahead and I cut another flower out to go on her hat, and I'm adding the center that is cut out of that same Doodlebug yellow cardstock. There we go. So isn't that cute? I just think it's so sweet. Now I'm going to pop up the sign. The sign was cut out of Paper Trank white cardstock, and then the title was cut out of Sunny Studios Striped Silly in yellow. And that was put together during the release and review for the May 2023 release. You can check that out. Now I am pulling off all the backing. Now these are all the edges from the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Remember to use those. And then I'm going to have that kind of on an angle up at the top, so it just says flowers. And then I have this little border that I put together during that same video. That was cut out of Paper Tray Ink New Leaf cardstock, and then the little flowers were cut out of, excuse me, my voice is rough today, out of Sunny Studios, I think it was Polka Dot Parade. Yes, Polka Dot Parade, and then the centers were Doodlebug yellow cardstock, just like that watering can. So I'm just trying to decide where everything goes. I'm using scrapbook adhesives there, just on the top of the hat, and then everything else will be glued flat with some art glitter glue. There we go. I think she's so cute with her little watering can. And then I'm going to slip in that sentiment flat on the card. That was stamped onto Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. And that was the Happy Gardening stamp set with outline dies. And it just says plant kindness on the outside, which is kind of a nice sentiment. Now I'm going to pop up these little, I'm going to add a little dimension behind that plant kindness. And then I'm going to pop up these cute little gloves that I cut out and put together during that Gnome Dies Garden Add Ons that you can watch me do. Those were cut from Sunny Studios Jewel Tones gingham. And I'm just going to pop them up. Isn't that cute? I think it's a sweet little card. And then I'm going to add this seed packet that was also put together on that Build-A-Booth add-ons. There we go. That's Paper Trank white cardstock, American Crafts brown cardstock, and then that Polka Dot Parade for the little tiny flower on the inside. There we go. I'm just using a Secure White Jelly Roll pen and a number 10 to add some highlights. They don't have to be perfect. They're just for a little bit of embellishment on this super sweet card. There we go. Just adding a few. I just think she's so sweet. You gotta love these little gnomes. I just think they're adorable. Now I'm pulling out some shape sprinkles from Doodlebug, and I'm using Mushroom Meadow here, and I'm just grabbing a couple of these little tiny flowers, and I'm just going to embellish the sign with them. Why not, right? And then I'm also going to use Doodlebug's Bright Bouquet, and I'm going to add a few little flowers from that one and leaves. I'm using a pen blade just to lift them up. And then I do move that purple flower down a little bit just so I can have the purple and the yellow up there. There we go. And then I've got these really cute little leaves. I'm just trying to decide where it's going to go. It does end up on that little watering can in a moment. But this is what I do when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put an embellishment. I kind of move it around until I see what I like, and then that's where it ends up. And I'm going to add one little flower on each of these little gardening gloves. I've got another pack of these same Bright Bouquet shape sprinkles from Doodlebug just to get a different color. And there we go. So it's a super sweet and easy card. Now I'm pulling out Nouveau Crystal Drops in Morning Dew. Now these dry clear, but they look white in the video. But in the pictures at the end, you'll see that they dry clear, and they give a nice you know, shiny, clear dome. You know, so they add some dimension and some shine. And I'm just adding it to the center of all the flowers. And you'll see in the pictures in the end that I think it adds something, right? A little bit of shine. And there you go. You can see that they've dried clear. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog. Be inspired. The Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these amazing products. And thank you as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you'll come back and watch another. Bye, everyone.